In this video, I'm going to show you how to start a beginner dropshipping business with no inventory, similar to one of my stores that has done almost 50 million naira in revenue. I'm not just going to give you the theory. I'm actually going to show you a practical dropshipping brand that we built in this particular video so that you can just do the same thing as well. Now let's kick this off by explaining what dropshipping is. Dropshipping in its simplest definition or simplest format is basically you selling a product you do not have. All right. And what I mean by that is there is a customer, there is a supplier, and then there's your dropshipping business in the middle. Now, the good thing about dropshipping is you do not need inventory. In fact, you can start a dropshipping business with very little capital or zero capital. That's the advantage of it. The disadvantage is you can continue to sell products, and then when people pay for those products, at the time you go and meet your supplier, you can then find out that it is out of stock, or worst case scenario, the price has increased, and it has increased to the point where it is no longer profitable for you to sell it. So most times you then have to return that money and then create a very bad experience with that customer because they will not come back again to meet you. There's also the problem where the supplier can now begin to run advertising and do the exact same thing you are doing and target their customer directly themselves. There's also that problem as well. So these are the issues with dropshipping. However, there are certain products that you can sell as a dropshipping business, and all this will never happen to you. And that's the next thing we're going to talk about. There are so many different ways to find products to sell. However, this is to show you the easiest and laziest way to start a dropshipping business. So I'm going to give you 4 key criteria you're going to look for to make sure that you have a product that you can actually sell. The first criteria is you want a product that is lightweight. It is not heavy, it is lightweight. Number 2, you want a product that is used every day or as often as possible during the week. You don't want a product where they use it once in a while or maybe once a month, things like that, because it's not easy to sell those kind of products online. Number 3, you want to make sure that this product is not sold everywhere or is not easily accessible online. You also want to make sure that when people go to the shops, or to the markets, not the shops, when people go to the market, they would have to spend a lot of time walking around the market to be able to find where to find these products. Okay? Because once it's easy to find, people will not patronize you online. They know that they can just easily go to the market. And last but not least, which is probably the most important of them all, you want to make sure that these products are priced at an impulse buy rate. Now, what impulse buy rate simply means is it costs a certain amount of money that will not make people think about it. They're like, oh, this thing is 5k, oh, this thing is 10k, oh, this thing is 20k, things like that. So there are certain reports and surveys that have been done. There's one I talk about on this channel where Piggyverse kind of show you how much the average Nigerian earns as an income. Obviously, you want to make sure that you are making a healthy margin from these products. So maybe products that sell for 12k that you can sell for 20k, products that sell for, that you buy from your supplier at 5k that you can sell for 10 or 15k, things like that. My own personal opinion is you want to work with electronics, fashion items, and food. The reason why I say this is these items are kind of, when it comes to running ads and creating content for social media, this is your safest bet. They hardly block or decline or cancel the ad accounts that are created around these niches. So that's something that you want to look at. The next thing you have to do is create an online brand. Now, when you are creating your online brand, it all starts with the name. The name has to be relevant, it has to be exciting, and it has to be different. When people hear that name, it needs to be something that catches their attention immediately and relates to what you are selling. Again, shout out to Simbi Props because she's doing such an amazing job. But you can hear from the name, Simbi Props. When you pick a name that you think sounds exciting, you want to make sure that that name is available. So there are platforms like Namecheck, Namechecker that you can use. Now, when it comes to designing logos, creating your brand using platforms like Canva, I have a video for that you want to watch next. In fact, this particular video is part of a playlist of a bigger, broad, free course that I'm putting on YouTube that will show you how to build a dropshipping business from start or from scratch, whichever one you want to look at it. So when you're done watching this one, there are a few videos that I want you to go and watch next to make sure that you build your business for success. But let's continue. The next thing you want to do here is to set up your e-store. When I started dropshipping, there was very limited opportunity. You could only sell on social media or spend money on a Shopify store. Nowadays, you have the Paystack storefront, you have the Flutterwave storefront, and you have Bumper. So you can leverage these platforms, and they are all free. But you can create a store and put your URL in your bio, share your URL with your family and friends, share your URL with anybody or any customer that you think would want your products, things like that. And setting up your store with these particular platforms is very, very simple and straightforward. The next thing you also want to look at is something that a lot of people don't pay attention to: packaging and shipping. Now let me start with packaging. With packaging, the one key thing I beg of you is don't waste your money on carrier bags, don't waste your money on thank you cards. We have other things that we need that money for, so keep it. Okay, what I want you to do is look for a delivery bag that seals. And the reason why I'm saying this is, when I started, I used to use carrier bags, and the logistics riders, not the partners, the riders of those bikes, they used to move my stuff, man. They used to move my stuff left, right, center, and they just used to tell lies from the pit. But anyways, that's the story for another day. But you want to make sure that you use those carrier bags, okay? And I want you to leverage the space available on those carrier bags. Those carrier bags, they're just white. So you want to leverage the space available. So if you want to say things like, oh, I know you've been expecting me, I'm happy to see you too, can't wait for you to open me, you want to put that on that particular, delivery bag that you decide to work with. And I'm saying this so that when people when your customers receive your product, they are excited. They're like, oh, this is nice. And what this thing does is it gets them to remove their phone, take a picture, and do what? Post it on social media. Not all of them would do this, but if out of 100 people, 5 to 10 people do this, that's 10%. That is advertisement you do not pay for. That is word of mouth you do not pay for. And what they will do if they like you, some people don't like you, but what they will do if they like you is they will then tag your business. And once they tag your business, what will you do? You repost it. So if it's on Instagram or any other platform, you repost it on your platform and you save it as a highlight. Because all of a sudden, what are you doing? You're building proof of sales, proof of business, and you're building trust. You're building trust in your brand. So this is one of the key things, right? That's why I say you want to use this particular type of bag. The next thing I want you to do is to get a QR code, right? Get a QR code that says scan me on top. Now, this QR code is the reason why I'm telling you that you do not need any thank you card. That money, let's use it for something else. Once you have a QR code, you're going to do one of two things. If you do not want to set up a e-store with maybe Bumper, or if you have the money for a Shopify, you want to then have a QR code that sends people to a social media post that tells them, oh, thank you for your purchase, tell them a bit about the brand, and offer them a discount code. These are things that just make the experience stand out from what every other Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing out there. And this is how it would help you. So this is why I'm telling you that this packaging thing is very different from what a lot of people talk about out there, right? So that's packaging. The next one we're going to look at is shipping. I'm not an advocate of this, but you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to offer payment on delivery. Now, the way you want to offer payment on delivery is there are certain locations, and disclaimer, nobody should, please don't fight me when I mention this, but there are certain locations and there are certain areas where the chances of payment on delivery turning to a violent scenario is high. So for example, people that live in Ikorodu, if they offer payment on delivery, please do not offer them payment on delivery. I have learned this personally the hard way. People that live from K2, Ojota, from Ojota down, don't offer them payment on delivery. You will hear stories. Your dispatch rider will call you with broken helmets. He will call you, will tell you that this is what happened, people chased me, all sorts of things. Now, I'm not saying everybody that lives in this place is like that. I'm not saying that, please. But it's something that I've experienced, and something that I know some of you that have gone through this will probably say it in the comments that it is true. So if you're offering payment on delivery, Ikoyi, Lekki, VI, Maryland, Surulere, that's Surulere, so forget ACP. But it depends on where you're looking at to offer payment on delivery. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to understand is the reason why you are starting your business with payment on delivery is because you don't have a lot of money and you need to make sales to make money. So it's a sacrifice that you have to make. In business, it's all about risk. Okay. the fact that you are not holding inventory, somebody else has invested money to bring this inventory into the country or make this inventory, that person has already taken that risk. Come on, you can easily take a risk where you can sacrifice a few sales and just wait till you see payments. But whatever it is you do, and if you're outside Lagos, most of the time I would use Lagos as an example. And the reason I say this is, when I was in Abuja, I never saw a payment on delivery customer in Abuja. Those Abuja people were just different. Me, I know we are different. If I'm claiming Abuja now, we are different in Abuja. We don't do payment on delivery. Just bring the product. Don't worry. How much is it? We pay the money, right? So depending on where you are, you might have to offer payment on delivery. Now, just offer payment on delivery within your state when you are getting started. Don't try to offer payment on delivery for someone that is living outside where you are. Don't do it. It will end in premium tiers. Now, GIG offers a cash on delivery service. I have never used this service before. I am thinking of using it, and then maybe I'll tell you how that experience goes. Next up, it's time for you to create content for social media. Now, a lot of your customers are going to come from social media because that's where they are, okay? And when it comes to social media, I want you to only prioritize 2 platforms at the beginning: WhatsApp and Instagram. Just WhatsApp and Instagram. And the reason why I'm telling you to do this is because everybody uses WhatsApp, okay? About 93, and dare I say more than 93% of us in Nigeria, we all use WhatsApp. That's number 1. So it's a great platform for customer service. That's number 1. Number 2, with Instagram, there is Gen Z, Millennials, Gen X, all on the platform. So you are positioning your product, depending on who wants it or who your primary audience is, to everybody on just one platform. With TikTok, is a much more younger audience. With Facebook, is a much more older audience. Instagram is currently the platform that plays across multiple age groups. All right, and that's why I tell people that just start with Instagram. As you are going, you think that a lot of your customers will come from somewhere else. You can always just pivot, but start with Instagram. That aside, you want to focus on these 4 types of content. The first one is what I call product associations. So product association is you take your product and you find a certain relevant topic or content and merge it together. My go-to example to this is somebody that bakes cakes. For a lady that bakes cakes, right? If all of a sudden she wants to start baking the new Captain America movie that just came out, she wants to bake a cake for it, she can tie her product into that particular Marvel Community Association and create a cake for it. That way, when she creates that content and posts it on social media, parents, the kids as well, things like that, they will be excited to say, oh, I want that cake for my child's birthday party. Something like that. The next one is behind the scenes or founder stories. This is very common where the person behind the business or behind the brand shows their face, talks about the product, talks about the inspiration around the business, talks about why they started, explains certain key features about the products, all those amazing things. This is one that might not be so common because you are just starting, and no shade or bashing to you, but you might not at the moment have a very aesthetic background. Okay, you might not have an aesthetic background, so you might not want to show behind the scenes yet, which is fine. I'm not going to judge you, but remember that as you are building your business on social media, you need to create a social media oriented business, which means you want to create a business where people can relate with you. All right, so people can relate with you, relate with your brand, things like that. And you don't always have to show your face. You can build a series of content where it just shows the experience of working in your business. So maybe when you're packaging products, things like that. The next one is what you call POVs, point of view content. Point of view, customer reviews, UGC, things like that. This is the first piece of content or first series of content you're going to spend time creating. And I say this because you are going to call your friends and family and you're going to send them this content, send them these products and tell them that, see, create content around these products for me. I want to use it for my social media and I also want to run ads. Now, you need to make sure that it is products that they want to use. Okay? It's products that they want to use or they're happy to use. Never create fake or manipulative content. It can come back to bite you in the... You get what I mean? So always remember that it is not wrong or illegal for you to create content with your friends and family and them genuinely giving you a review about the product that they like. That's not wrong. It is wrong if you influence or manipulate them to say things that are not true. then there's a problem. Okay, so always remember that. That's a fantastic piece of content that you're going to spend a lot of time making. And then last but not least, you have your sales and promotions content, where you just talk about your Black Friday deals, your Christmas deals, your first time purchase customer deals, all those amazing things really. And then you have your paid advertising plan. Once you have your social media platform ready, the next thing you're going to do is to begin to run ads. At the beginning, I'll probably suggest that you don't run ads. What I'll tell you is, with your social media content, organic content, you want to post 5 times a week minimum. So to take you a period of maybe 1 to 3 months before you run any paid advertising. If you run paid advertising without having content on your social media page, people will not patronize you. They will just think you're a scam or you are just a new business. It's just like when you go to, well, some of you don't know that, but let me tell you a little secret for the ladies that are watching this. We men, when we go to barber shops, if we see a new barber for the first time, we don't go and meet that barber because we don't trust that barber. It's the same way when you start your business. If it is too early, if you don't have a lot of content on your page and you send people to that place, nobody will want to patronize your business. Okay, so use that same example or use that same understanding in this particular place. When it's time for you to run ads, you want to create a video reel or a carousel to use to promote your products. So I have a framework that I typically work with the guys in the EMBA program: hook, relevance, offer, and your call to action. Right? Hook, relevance, offer, social proof, actually, and your call to action. So that was a lot of theory. Let's move on to the practical side of things. Let us actually build a dropshipping brand example. So first off, let's start with the products. Now, when it comes to products, what I've done here is I've gone into the market and I've looked for a particular product that fits those 4 key criteria I spoke about. And what am I selling is a security camera, a simple mini security camera that I found on Gigi. Now, I use Gigi because I physically can't go into the market at the moment. Your own scenario is different. I strongly suggest that you go into the market because you will find cheaper prices. If I found these products on Gigi at 25,000-30,000 naira, when I go into the market, I can definitely find it for 15,000-20,000 naira and strike a good deal with suppliers in the market. So I have like a market guide that is free that you can download. I also have a profitable e-commerce niche store examples PDF that you can use as some sort of inspiration or product idea, things like that. So you can see both things in the description. One thing I want to also mention here is, and normally my descriptions are not this packed, but you would see that even the playlist for other videos that you need to watch to successfully build this your e-commerce business, your dropshipping business, you would also see all those links in the description. But yeah, let's continue to the brand example. You then want to create the online brand for it. So I've created the brand. I've decided to call it Secure Light NG. This is pretty cool. I've checked the name check to make sure that the domain is available. I've checked on Instagram as well to make sure that I can easily create the profile, things like that. So next up, you now want to look at the packaging. So like I said, you want to have front and back. So the front will say some very good words that gets the consumer the customer excited, while the back has the QR code that would lead to a social media post or a what's it called now, or a particular page on your e-store. You can see here that this is a dropshipping brand. Everything I've told you to do, I've brought it to life with Secure Light NG, right? The tagline, everything is not. If you see this as a real business today, you should not question it. Again, if I run an ad and you need a camera, you would want to patronize me. I would want to believe that, right? Last but not least, it's time for us to run ads. What I've decided to do here is I've gone the carousel route. So remember, I told you can go video or carousel. So I've gone the carousel route and I'm using my business to tell a story because Nigerians love a good story. Okay, so you can see a lady here. She's been worried about, what happens when she's not around, what happens in the night time, things like that. She bought our product, then she noticed that somebody was about to burgle her. She rang the alarm, created a warning, and they arrested that person. And wow, Secure Light NG came to save the day, right? That's typically something that somebody would. The thing is, when you run ads for this kind of business, it will get a lot of engagement. So it will get a lot of engagement from shares, comments, all those amazing things. And some people would actually then go ahead to say, oh yeah, so how much is it safe? They will come to your DM. If you have your e-store set up, they will visit your e-store, things like that. This is how you actually want to stand out and be different with your dropshipping business. Don't just do the casual, what's it called now? Don't do the casual, oh, let me just take a quick picture and post it online. Don't be lazy. Lazy people don't get fed. Lazy people don't make money. So don't be lazy, right? No work, no food. That's one thing that we say in our household. So you need to make sure that you are working and you are standing out each and every step of the way. Now, I have a lot of videos that I strongly suggest you watch next. You know, when it comes to setting up ads, when it comes to creating your ads manager account, all those amazing things. You can watch the video, or you can actually just go through a particular playlist. And then when you are done, you are definitely ready to build a successful dropshipping business.